Thank you, and welcome to our presentation. We're a relatively new company. Although we've been exploring since 2013, we have only just recently acquired our new assets in Scandinavia, 3 in Norway and 1 in Sweden. The president of the company, CEO, is Mike Devshi, who's sitting in the back of the room. I'm the VP of Exploration. We've been together working since 2003, where we found a major silver discovery in Mexico in our former company called Orco Silver, and we were taken out in 2013 by Coeur Mining for $380 million. This is our next venture. So 59 million shares fully diluted. Our market cap's like 2 million shares. $2 million, not very much. Our partner in this venture moving forward in Scandinavia is EMX Royalty. They have about 10% of the property of the company. We, as management, have been putting all our money into it, so that's why our close friends and us have about 25% of the existing share capital. We have been involved in the mining space for some time. In addition to Coeur taking over Orco Silver, management has been involved in a number of corporate takeovers over the years, and so it's a pretty strong board. We've done this, and we've shown how to give value to the investors with exit opportunities. And as the Corvus guy just said, our business is often a merger and acquisition, so we're going to take our projects as far as we can and see what happens. The 3 projects we just acquired from EMX are in Norway and in Sweden. The 3 in Norway are all former producers. One of them in particular, the Black Basili, is one we're going to concentrate on. The other 2 are exploration that has had no mining since the turn of the century. And then there's one in Sweden, which I'll talk about at the end. Black Basili is the one to the north. So why Norway? A lot of people don't know about Norway, and Norway is opening up. In 2010, they changed the Mining Act. The Mining Act, until that time, did not have a time frame on claim ownership. You could hold on to it forever. Now there's a time frame. It was 7 years, so by the time in 2010 all that legislation cleared, the first of those mines that projects or people were holding forever started becoming available. And so from 2018 on, you're seeing people acquiring projects that have been not available for a long time. And so that's very good. For, you use it or lose it is a great policy. So one of the reasons we go there, everybody's heard that Norway is an expensive place to work, and it is, food and accommodation and such, and labor is expensive. But when you get into production, the power costs are so low, they're 5 cents a kilowatt hour, and that's unheard of in most jurisdictions. So that's the reason you go to this kind of part of the world is the fact that your power costs are going to be so low on production. So, there's a lot of mineralization there. The history of mining in Norway goes back to the turn of it goes back to Viking time. The bottom picture there is of a smelter that was built in 1600s. And so they've been smelting copper since about 1632, and that now is a UNESCO heritage site. The other thing people say about Norway, it's a very environmentally sensitive part of the world, and they don't like mining. Well, they've made this UNESCO heritage site on the old waste dump, which is quite surprising, but there it sits. And so when UNESCO wanted to expand the boundaries of that, the community said, no, we want mining. We don't want to have a bigger UNESCO heritage site here. So when oil was discovered in Norway, it changed everything. Mining became secondary, and so as a result, everybody was focusing on oil and gas, and then mining just sort of slipped. The project that we're going to be focusing mostly on is Black Basili. It's a former producer. It mined for 40 years, and it's very similar to the Zinkgruben mine in Sweden that Lundin has. And so I'm going to show a video. Before we start the video, I'll give you some background. In the last 5 to 10 years of mining life, it was done basically by the miners, and everything. When we got the property in 1997, there was piles and piles of maps and boxes of reports. Nothing was digitized. So we spent the last few months creating what you're going to see now, which is a 3-dimensional leapfrog model of what was done in the past and what the future is. Okay, so you can run that video now. It's only 2 minutes. That shows the mine, a great overview. So can you pause it for a second? So what happened where the mining operation was. I don't think I can use this pointer. There is a tailings pond off to the left where the M is, and that's now full. So about 10 years ago, or the last 10 years of mining life, they were pumping the tails right into the lake, and that seems to be allowed in Norway still. They just put in a new a mine just got approved up in the northern part of Norway where they're dumping tailings right into the ocean. So it's certainly something that is still considered there. Okay, go. So this is a quick summary, 40 years of mining life. It's a massive sulfide deposit. It is both sediment hosted and or volcanic hosted. We have both, so it's a big argument. Is it SEDEX? Is it VMS? You know, it is there. So we'll just figure out what it is as we move along. So this is all the work we've done, underground development to 290 meters. You can see all the levels, 40 different mining levels. About 25 kilometers of underground working and development. 1,400 drill holes, that's amazing, of which we have data from about 650. You can see the intercepts there, grade zinc equivalent intercepts. Pause, please. This is the remaining tonnage that the government of the Norwegian government has published. They say there's about 3 years of mining life left at the time when the mine stopped. Now, the mine stopped because there was a flood in 1997. And so they pumped the water out, and when they wanted to go back into production, because they were the people that were mining it were just actually the contract, the cooperative, the mining cooperative. They didn't have the financial backup to be able to support downturn in the market. So as a result, the deposit remained unmined and untouched since 1997, and now it's back flooded again. So that was the remaining tonnage, and you can see from that, and tonnage, and that's the remaining grade. You can see that grade is pretty good, and in today's environment, that'd be something you'd like to mine. Okay, go ahead. So you can see some of the drill holes that the data that we've shown up there. Okay, stop, please. So what you see there, the red, is what was mined. 5 million tons of ore. Okay, go ahead. So that was the historic grade from day one. The mine was discovered in 1914, but didn't really get into full production until 57. So this is what is going to be important. Stop here, please. Okay, so now what you see in the red is what was mined, the 5 million tons. The pink is what has been defined by previous drilling. Of those 1,400 holes, a number of them were drilled that show the deposit exists beyond where they mined, beyond the 3 years of mining life. There's a lot of upside potential here. And the beauty of this is the blue lines that you see in there, other than the drill holes, those blue lines are underground development. They've already developed. They've been working, they were planning to mine this, but then the flood happened and then the economy turned. So this remains wide open for potential. Okay, go ahead, please. I'll let it run out to the end. So there's also the south end of the deposit is completely faulted off. We don't know where the fault extension of that's further upside for the thing. And so you can see that where the potential is in the pink, and so lots of upside, and this is what we like. It's not just 3 years mine life. Okay, so there we also have 2 other properties in Norway. You can see them there right next to major roads and lots of big deposits. That's what I want you to take away from this slide. Norway is just not small deposits. There's big deposits there. This one has 3 former producers that produced at the turn of the century. This one also has 3 old producers. We have the one in Sweden. It's right next to the main mining belt, the VMS belt, like near Skellefteå, the BC properties that we still have. So that's our talk. We have a lot of upside and a great potential. So come by our booth if you have time, and we'll give you the full story. Thanks.
Thank you, George. Thank you.